I don't know what to do if it's not a fan, so I'm just gonna do the fan. I don't know what else to do anymore, but I don't know.
It's,
The
I'll
fan is
just
the fan is eternal.
I'll just do this size since it's Survivor.
Great, love it.
If it was Drag Race or anything else, it'll be colorful.
Right, literally anything else, honestly. Welcome to the Cup Refilled, where the reality of the past becomes the tea of today. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Gay. We are still drinking. We just did another recording before this. If you can tell, great, cool, whatever. I'm still drinking this good old pomegranate lemonade. It is lovely and wonderful and very caffeinated.
I have reached my caffeine limit, and so I'm just drinking water. And yes, I know I'm going out of order,
I
but
was
I'm
gonna
just
say we're out of order today. Great.
we're going to be out of order. But I'm drinking water, and you know why I'm drinking water? Because I am Lana, your resident diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I loves me some tea per. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. And I am drinking water because I would rather drink my tea in my cup mug because if you get the tea, the girlies who know, and all the girlies who are good have one of these. So you should get one too. Get your cup mug at lanagscreations.etsy.com. And you can get all of our cup merch, not just the cup mug. We have other cup merch that you can get. And you know what? Support us. Support this channel. Support us. And when you buy your cup merch, support me. Period.
Period. We're back. It's Survivor Heroes versus Villains. It is episode 7 and episode 8. Where we were talking before we started recording. It feels like a lot happens and yet absolutely nothing happens, but a lot happens.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I feel like this I told Logan before we started. I feel like I did not watch the season because I really remember absolutely nothing that is going on. So it feels very new to me. But I feel like I thought I did watch this season, but I don't know. It's just
mhm.
I don't know if I just blocked it out of my memory or I just really didn't watch it. But it
It's
was
this middle section of the season right before merge for me that I'm
mhm,
like, oh, the details get a little bit fuzzy. Like I remember who got voted out in both of these episodes.
mhm.
We talked about it last week, but then I was like, oh, I don't remember the details exactly of how we got to this scenario, but I know we did.
I
So
don't even remember. And honestly, I don't think I'm coming to the conclusion I just don't think I watched this season.
I don't think you watched this season
It's
either.
it's just coming to my conclusion. I don't think I did because I know who's in the final three, but
Yes.
that's now after doing
Yeah.
some reading and things on it.
And
I
like two of them have returned.
right,
Well,
and
all three of them actually have
I've
returned to future
returned.
seasons,
Right. And
but
so I'm just like I know who gets to the end and I know who wins the season. I just don't remember watching and seeing how we got to that point. So this just feels very new to me. So I don't think I watched the season, but I'm watching it now. And my thoughts about people are like, mm, were you okay.
it's an interesting midpoint because we do see a lot of these characters return to future seasons
Mm-hmm.
and kind of have, similar and or different story arcs. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the perfect example of that is Tyson. So we
Yes.
lost Tyson in the last episode, and I remember Tyson coming back for Blood versus Water, spoiler, where he wins. And I just remember him being a lot more cognizant with his gameplay. I think a
Yeah.
lot of it had to do with he did have, a bigger stake in the game. I believe it was his girlfriend
Mm,
was his
partner.
partner.
I'm was that after this season or before this season?
Yeah, so that was Blood versus Water 1. I believe it was like season 27 or
Okay.
so.
And see, and I just think maybe with Tyson, as you mentioned, he had more stake in his game and he learned from his mistakes from this season because that last, he literally just got played. He got outplayed flat, like just simple. And if he would have just listened, unfortunately, if he would have just listened to Boston Rob, he still would have been there. And he just let Russell, and again, this is we said this last week, and I'll say it again this week. The fact that these people did not get to watch Russell's season was a huge advantage for Russell in
Yeah.
this game. And that is why Russell got as far as he did in this game. And
Yeah.
that is why I feel like it was interesting that they couldn't see him play because he saw how all of them played.
Yeah.
It was like he was able to scout them and nobody could scout him.
Yeah.
And it was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So as I thought, Blood versus Water was season 27. So the progression is actually Blood versus Water and then Cagayan, and then San Juan del Sur, Blood versus Water 2,
Mm-hmm.
which is where Icon Legend Diva, my favorite winner of all time, Natalie Anderson, wins the season
Mm-hmm.
after her twin gets voted out first.
First, right.
So,
I watched that season.
we will be covering that
We
season
will
at
cover
some
that
point
season. We
in the
will.
near future.
Mm-hmm.
I think I kind of want it to be the next one we cover, if I'm being honest, but I don't
I
know
feel like
where.
we're going to do a randomizer, like we said. We're going to put all the seasons
Yeah,
that we want on a wheel, and we're going to spin that wheel at the end of
yeah,
this season and see what we're watching next. Because I feel like that makes it more organic for us to just
yeah.
watch seasons.
I like it. I think I like it where like everyone who's doing it with us picks a season, and then we randomize it.
Just us.
Well, there are other people that hopefully will be joining us in the future for other things. It's just scheduling is difficult sometimes. But yeah, so this was Tyson's second season.
Mm-hmm.
So he was on Token Sheens, and then he was on Heroes vs. Villains, and then he won Blood versus Water 1, and then he obviously Winners of War. So that was the progression. But yes, Tyson was eliminated. The majority is like, how the hell did that happen? Why did Tyson vote stupidly? And then meanwhile, Russell, Parvati, and Danielle are just like, ha!
Like, my God. It's so funny. And Rob is very annoyed. Rob is like, how could three people who are still in the minority be giggling and so smug?
Mhm.
Like, how? But then Rob is like, also like, maybe. This is what I appreciate Rob in this moment because Rob is very self-aware and very in tune to what is going on in this game. He's like, maybe I'm sitting here talking to people who is on the opposite, who is not, who's saying they're working with me and they not. So I could be screwed. Or maybe, maybe they have something that I don't know about. I could be screwing myself right now. But we only time will tell. And I'm like, pan to Jerry, pan to Coach. He's very in tune. He knew exactly. He like I could. They could be smug for a reason. They could be cocky for a reason. And some of y'all sit here. Mm,
And it's really interesting that you bring that up because I do absolutely agree. And I think this is the first time we saw Boston Rob on the show not having full control over his situation.
mm-hmm,
And we see it again
mm-hmm,
eventually when we cover Winners at War. That is definitely coming. It's on
mm-hmm,
the horizon as well. But that also pops up when we look at Rob in Winners at War. And I think it's a really interesting comparison. And when we cover that season and when Rob gets eliminated, spoiler, he doesn't win. But if you don't know who won Winners at War, go watch Winners at War. It's a good season. But it's I'm interested to look at the parallels between Rob's elimination episode here, spoiler, and Rob's elimination episode in Winners of War. I'm really interested to see how those correlate. I've never made that correlation, but I'm really interested in seeing it because
It's saying spoiler after we said it. Even worth it.
spoiler.
uh,
Everything is a spoiler. If you haven't
if
watched
you haven't
Survivor,
watched
why
it,
are you here?
it's
Like,
like literally 20. This is season 20. We're at season 45
we're about
now.
to, yeah, it's
About to
about
go
to be
with
season 45.
so yeah. If you haven't, if you're spoiled by this,
Yeah.
you should be.
So we get our little minority, Russell, Parv, and Danielle, and they're like, well, we kind of need more people to work with. And like
Mm-hmm.
Russell kind of has Coach.
Mm-hmm.
But Coach is still this like ever floating being.
Coach is still like
Coach.
yeah, Coach is Coach. Like he's like I like I want to work with Russell, but I really want to work with Rob. Like I think Rob is like Coach's favorite
I'm
player, and
fangirling over
he's
Rob, but I know I
fangirling.
should actually just work with
Right.
I really should just work with Russell.
But he's fangirling. And you know what? I probably would have been that same way with Sari if I was in the
Oh,
season.
absolutely.
Like
I'm like, Sari, you can screw me over
you
all
can
you
screw me
want.
over and it's fine. I will be able to say Cerise Field screwed me, period.
Truly.
But and be happy with that title.
Oh yeah.
But like so I think that's what is going on. Like Coach is such a fangirl for Boston Rob. And I get it. Look, Boston Rob is a legend in this game. You can't deny it. He even if you don't like him and you don't like his tactics, he did what needed to be done when he needed to do it. And he ran games like he ran whole tribes for a very long period of time in some of these games. So
Yeah.
I understand. But coach is so like, I don't know what to do. I'm conflicted. I want to work with Rob because I love Rob, but I want to work with Russell because Russell's a strong player and it's coach.
So because of the wishy-washiness of Coach, Russell ends up deciding that, the weaker, not the weaker link necessarily, but like the person that he thinks they can maybe sway to their side a little bit more is Jerry. And I definitely think that was the correct person to try to
Smart move.
pull in. Um,
Although it got a little pushback from Harmony, Parvati. Parvati's like, I don't like her. I don't want to work with her, and she doesn't want to work with me. And I'm like, yeah, but you gotta suck it up sometimes and be like, okay, okay,
yeah.
I'll do
And
it.
we end up kind of, and it ends up coming to a head at the end of this episode, but it really is a 3-3 split. You
Yeah,
have Parv, Russell, Danielle on one side, Rob, Courtney, and Sandra on the other, and then you have Coach and Jerry in the middle, and it's like, what are we
yeah.
going to do? So, meanwhile, the heroes are like, oh no, James. That's all.
That's it.
Uh, let's go to
Literally,
the
that's it.
reward.
Yeah,
Reward time.
reward time.
We are throwing down in the ocean,
Period.
playing basically
Basketball.
basketball. Like, it's
It's it's
basketball.
water basketball.
It's
It's cool.
basketball, but there's water covering about maybe a third of your body
It
at most,
helps. It soothes the blow when we take you down. We give you like for real straight fouls, but nobody cares because no calls in this
because you're
game.
just landing on hard, soft
What?
sand, like, and water. Oh yeah,
Water.
like water's gonna break the blow.
No, water
Um,
hurts.
water fucking hurts.
Water hurts if you land on it.
Water hurts a lot.
And then it
Like,
gets up your nose and it burns in your
no,
eyes. It
absolutely
burns.
not.
It's
And then
salt
what happens if
water.
there's like broken shells in this sand? Like, I don't want to land on some broken shells in hard sand and have water break my fall. I'm not trying to do that.
Mm,
I'm
it's,
not.
it's they're very physical this season with their challenges. All of these challenges are very physical, and I'm like, this is why I would never do Survivor. This is why,
No,
no,
ma'am.
ma'am, Pam. No, I can't
No,
do it. It's too much.
no.
But
Um, I mean, it's a blowout,
I
basically.
mean, because Kobe is on a mission.
Finally.
Kobe is like, I need to wake it up. I need to light it up. They got rid of James, and he was like, I know if James' knee was not hurt, I would be gone, which is facts. If
A
James was
hundred
not
percent.
hurt, he would have been out of there,
A hundred
and
percent.
James would have killed this challenge, like demolished this challenge anyway. But Kobe needed to prove himself, and Kobe's like, I got to show this tribe that they made the right decision on
Yeah.
keeping me over James, and it starts today. And boy, did he start today. He was like a man possessed out there.
He looked good. I ain't even gonna lie to you. He
He
looked
did.
good.
He did. He did. And he slammed Jerry in that water. I was like, oh. It's my thing is, if we're gonna make the pairs man woman in these situations, as the woman I am, I'm like, baby, I'm probably gonna get slammed by a dude at some point. I get
A
it.
hundred
I'm
percent.
not gonna get mad if he take me in, because this is the game we competing, and the
Yeah.
heroes blow them out. Like it was 3-0. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't. They
And,
the villains got nothing.
and
They
so
got
they get a
nothing.
waterfall feast.
Yeah,
Good for them.
good
They
for
get food.
them. They get chicken and beef
And a
and a
clue to the hidden
clue.
immunity idol. And they are like, well, I'll just find it together. I'm like,
Mm. I said,
And then
what
we,
happens? What happens to when do we start the days where we see the clue and it's like somebody says, "Ooh."
the second half of this season is honestly what
Mm.
it is.
Okay.
But yeah, so the villains go back to camp. They're mad. It's and then it's like Russell's talking to Jerry some more. Coach joins in. Coach is upset.
His feelings are hurt.
He's like, I still don't know if I want to trust Russell. Coach is talking to Jerry, and Jerry tells Coach that Rob is untrustworthy, and that she trusts Russell as much as she trusts Coach, and Coach is like, Coach is basically just like, my ego is hurt. He doesn't say that, but like that's what he's feeling.
His bruised ego. He felt like he's been with Jerry since day one.
Mhm.
And how do you go from not trusting Russell to trusting Russell the same amount that you trust me
Yeah.
when I've been with you since day one? And I get that. I understand why he felt that way, because I would have been like, what you mean you trust him the same as me when you didn't trust him 18 days ago?
Mhm.
Like when we first you didn't trust him, and now he done made you trust him the same amount as me. And Jerry's like, I don't mean that. That's not what I meant. I mean, I definitely trust you more, but I just definitely trust Russell a whole lot. And I'm like, nice backtracking, but you said what you said,
Mhm.
so he couldn't unhear it. And when you're in a game in this situation, this pressure cooker, every little thing kind of makes you go, mm, oh, okay. Deep now, if it was me, I felt like he shouldn't have showed all that emotion and been like, oh, I'm just so hurt that you like you take those little pieces of information, you take it and you store it in. Noted, duly noted. You trust him the same way you trust me. I can't have that later on down the line. Like, I'm not going
Yeah.
to give you a reason to want to turn on me later. Like, if you reacted this way for this little conversation, how would you act later on if I say something? No, I'll be
Mhm.
like, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I sure you store that kind of information for a later date.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I would say we go to the next day, but literally nothing of day 17 is shown. We go straight to day 18.
Period.
They're like, day 17 doesn't exist.
It doesn't happen. Nothing
That
happened on
is
him.
usually the point where like they give them a full like off day. So I
Hmm.
get why there's like no footage or anything.
And
Uh,
and I think they need it. They deserve it. I hope they give them some food while they are they off day.
I don't
I
think
don't
so,
know.
but
I don't look. I don't think they do, but it would be nice. But
yeah.
okay.
So we go to the immunity challenge
Yeah.
and we're running across a net to get bags of puzzle pieces and we're solving a puzzle. It's,
Hmm.
pretty standard Survivor challenge.
It seems like this challenge will be tailor made for the villains, because they've been doing so well in challenges like this where it comes to making puzzles at the end. It doesn't matter how far ahead the heroes are or behind the heroes are when it comes to the puzzle part. That's where the villains shine, and that's where they always, make up whatever deficit they might have had. And so this seems like it was tailor made for the villains to just do what they've been doing. They get the puzzle pieces, the puzzles
Yeah.
make things happen, and easy breezy, they win.
Unfortunately,
That did not happen this time around.
unfortunately, Courtney, good old Courtney,
Courtney,
dear goodness,
sweet
Courtney.
Courtney.
Oh,
Courtney. She couldn't run across that net to save her life without
no,
falling. And then she got on the cardinal net and she was like, uh, 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 and
And
then
Coach is mad,
pissed off,
pissed.
pissed.
And so for the first time in almost, I think, like 10 days, the heroes win an immunity.
They have won the reward and immunity in the same episode. That's not been a thing for them.
They just have to eliminate half their tribe to do it.
No, yep, that's all they had to do. Get down to that fantastic five.
And that it like when you look at that five, it's JT, Colby, Rupert, Amanda, and Candace.
Yep, that's the fantastic five.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
Uh-huh. Sure.
So, okay. So we go back to villains camp. Villains are going to tribal. And I do love Russell. Like, so Rob, Sandra, and Courtney, I think, are talking. And Russell just goes straight up and he's like, so we should vote out Sandra or Courtney, right?
One of y'all should go.
I'm
Because
like,
the weakest.
what?
I was like, and Rob was like, you just gonna say that while they sit here? Like,
Yeah, because he's Russell Hantz. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, apparently.
apparently.
Except win Survivor.
Which, you know what? I'm not mad at.
Oh, I am not mad in the slightest.
Because
Very
he
thrilled.
can. Oh,
Thrilled.
I'm gonna go back and watch the Australia he was on, just the first episode, to see him get put out.
2 episodes.
It's not like
His tribe won the first.
Okay, well, I'll go to the second episode. I'll just skip past the first episode. Just go to the second episode. At the end, at Tribal Council.
Maybe at some point we refill an Australian season because they're good. They're just long. But so then it literally is just like the same conversations we've been having the whole damn episode. It's the 3-3 and Jerry and Coach are in the middle, and they really do not know what they're gonna do. And Coach promises Russell. Coach then tells Russell Rob is plotting to vote him out because at this point Russell's trying to vote out Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Coach tells Russell that Rob is gunning for him, he's like, "Nah, F this. We're voting out Rob." And Coach is like, but then agrees to do it. And then goes to Rob and says, "Oh, we're voting out Russell." And Coach goes, and then agrees to it. And then literally this man that talks about honor and loyalty and whatever the fuck, I hate Coach. I really just do not like this man. I really do not like this man. And I'm not afraid to say that on this podcast. I just don't like him on this show. He's probably a decent individual in real life. But the character that is Coach, I just don't like.
I think I agree with you. I did not like, because I'm like, if you're going to be like, oh, I'm so loyal, this is my thing, this is who I am, I treasure that, I cherish that, I can't, go. What were you doing? Why would you tell if you then you whine? I don't want Boston Rob to go. Blah, blah, blah. Then why would you go tell Russell that Rob is going after him if you don't want him to go?
Why would you do the thing you do later?
Right? Like, why would you? Like, you're just so confusing. He's such a confusing person, and I was not a fan of the character of Coach in this episode or in this season. And so I'm like, I just was not a fan. Not a fan.
So we go to Tribal, and basically it's like, oh no, we're a unified tribe. Or we're not a unified tribe. And then Russell and Danielle are like, no, I think we've gotten stronger. And Jeff is just like, no, clearly you're disagreeing. So, like, whatever. And then Coach is like, but actually, we should just take out Courtney. And I'm like, this man is just a straight up idiot, because we go to vote, and instead of it being 4-4, which is what I think most people were expecting, the vote ends up being 4-3-1
because stupid Coach
decides
Courtney.
He decides to vote for fucking Courtney
because he couldn't vote for Rob because he didn't want Rob to go. But he couldn't vote for Russell because he told Russell he would vote with them. So he threw his vote,
And
which is
Jerry ends up making
the
the
swing vote.
pivotal decision.
Hmm.
And I honestly think, and we'll talk more about Jerry in subsequent episodes because there's a lot of Jerry left in the season. I think this is the pivotal moment for Jerry's game, is this decision choosing Russell over Rob.
I think this is a good moment for Jerry. I think that was the correct moment for Jerry. I think her picking Russell's side was the best move for her because I feel like Rob would have not prioritized her
No.
in the game like I feel like Russell would have, even though she came in last. And I think Russell definitely prioritized poverty over all of them.
Yeah.
But Russell, I think Jerry could end up second in chain to Russell before Danielle because I feel like he would throw Danielle out the minute before he.
And the other thing too is we'll talk about it in future episodes, but with choosing the Russell side, she ends up basically becoming Parvati's number one for a good chunk of the merge.
Mm.
And if she hadn't made this decision,
Yes.
Russell goes home and Parvati probably doesn't make it as far as she does.
Mm-hmm.
The iconic moment of the season, Jerry doesn't get an idol in that scenario.
Mm.
And Jerry got an idol from Parvati in that scenario.
Mm.
So, which you don't remember, I don't think.
I
So
don't. That's why I'm
that's
like,
going
I
to be
didn't
really
watch this.
fun. There's a lot of things that happen later. For me, this is the pivotal moment for Jerry because if Jerry did not make this decision,
Things would not have happened.
I think literally the next three people to go are Parvati, Danielle, and Jerry in some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, that it's nothing of the sort.
Yeah, this was interesting. This was interesting, and I was like, I thought it was correct for Jerry to do what Jerry did. Was it correct for Coach to do what Coach did? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
I feel like if you don't want someone to go and you feel that strongly about it, then you make sure that person doesn't go. And it would have the crappy thing about it, it would have went to a revote and they probably would have went to rocks.
100%.
And
yeah,
then if Coach stays, now you have Russell upset with you. But you also have the protection of Rob, who was like, you did what you said you were gonna do. That's loyalty. But somebody goes go. And we don't know who would have left on rocks.
Could you imagine if it went to a rock draw and like Sandra went home?
I would or Parvati went home.
Or Parv went home.
If Parvati went home on a rock draw. Or what if Jerry went home on the rock draw after she made like, oh my god, like the possibilities could
Jerry make that feels like the most cinematic ending is like Jerry takes a stand and then ends up getting rocked out.
Oof.
Oof. No.
Oof. Absolutely no.
Bye, Rob.
Bye. Bye, Rob.
So we go to episode 8. The villains. This
episode. Okay.
God.
Go.
Well, the villains go back to camp, and Russell, Parv, and Danielle are like, part 2, the remix.
Right. 2.0.
They got Tyson and Rob out into back-to-back tribals, and Coach is just like,
this is so stupid. Russell's a bully. Russell's a bully. It's so bad. I'm like, and you're an idiot because you could have prevented this whole thing, but you didn't. So,
yeah. So we go to the next day. It's day 19. We go to the heroes, and JT, being the little weasel he is like, well, we found this hidden immunity clue, but I'm going to go find it for myself. And then finds it and gets caught by Amanda and Candace.
Like, instantly.
And so he's like, no, I was getting it for everyone.
But it's for the tribe. I was going to tell everybody.
And the ladies are just like, no.
Candace said, I'm glad you showed up when you did, Amanda. Amanda's like, because he wouldn't have said nothing if we didn't show up. I'm like, mm-hmm.
Like, this is one of those few moments where I'm like, you know what, Candace? Work, Candace. Like,
Mm-hmm.
work, Candace. I see you.
Clocked. You clocked. You clocked.
Clock.
You clocked.
Not a soul can clock
Not a
except
circuit
Candace.
clock. What's up,
But
Candace?
Candace clocked.
Candace clocked. Ooh.
Candace clocked. I love it.
Okay.
The girls that know, and the girlies that
Mm-hmm.
don't.
Sorry.
Okay, so then we're getting ready for the fucking challenge. And Tree Mail comes to the villains, and they are so delusional
Oh
and
God.
hungry that they convince themselves that it's merge.
Oh my God. They fully convinced themselves. They didn't mention tribes in here. They just said a feast for everyone. I'm like, that don't say that.
So
That ain't what.
they proceed to take down the entire camp
Oh my God. Tarp everything. They
and
took it with them. Took
so they bring everything to the challenge.
everything. Literally everything.
And Jeff is like, "What are y'all doing?" And they're like, "Oh, we thought it was a merge." And Jeff just goes, "No."
Jeff said, I will answer the questions that you've been waiting for. Drop your expectations. I
Expectation.
was like,
Literally, I'm like, "Ugh."
oh. I was like, in that moment, I was like, that was kind of hot, Jeff. That was kind of hot. Drop
Well, this is
your
back. This is
ex.
back in like the hotter days of Jeff
Yes.
Probst.
I was like, that was kind
Not
of
that
hot.
he looks any bad.
No,
Not
he
that he
does
looks
not
bad
look
right
bad
now.
now. I just thought in that moment, I was like, okay, Jeff, that was kind of hot
Well,
because he got him
is
good. He
this
got him
around
good.
the time where he was on 2.5 Men and has his like he's just in a towel scene?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, have you never seen that?
I mean, I've seen 2.5 Men, of course, and I saw him on 2.5 Men, but I don't know the time period.
Uh, so
But
it's
yeah,
just a normal everyday reward
it's a
challenge,
reward challenge. That's
and
it.
it's coconut bowling. I
Good.
hated this. I
Look,
hated
good.
this so much.
All I'm saying is the tree mail did not lie. This was good, clean fun.
I hated it.
I loved it.
I'm glad you did.
I did because I'm like, what's more fun than some bowling with your friends? I loved it.
These are not your friends.
Although I feel like those pins were way too heavy for those small coconuts. Like,
You literally would have had to like just lob the
wow,
coconut.
you
It's
really
like hello,
we
no.
need bigger balls for this to knock those pins down. Those pins were way too heavy for those little balls.
Coconuts. No.
Uh, co-
Well, so
uh,
as the villains are deciding who to sit out of the challenge, the coach is just like, well, it should be Courtney and Sandra, and it's I think Parvati is like that means
she,
Courtney and Sandra have to play in the immunity challenge, and coach is just like Courtney and Sandra are sitting out.
I want pizza. Because you walk in and you see a table full of pizza and he lost his goddamn mind.
Don't worry,
Oh,
coach. You'll be able to have all the pizza you want at Ponderosa.
period. Because they go and guess what happens? The villains lose again. The heroes beat them one more time because Amanda did the thing that she needed to do and got them those last two pins and
Amanda Kimmel did the thing.
she did the things and she
She did the
won.
thing. Yeah.
And so they got all of that pizza and brownies and bread and garlic bread over there. And the villains had to go back and look all they camp back. And
And Jerry is mad.
Jeff said, Jeff said, he said, I guess you all will have to go back and rebuild your shelter. They were like, yeah.
Don't remind us, Jeff.
So what?
And
Jerry's
then
pissed. Jerry's
it
pissed.
and then so Jerry's mad, Sandra's mad.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone starts fighting. It's like Sandra v. Jerry, Sandra v. Danielle and Russell, and like everyone's just yelling.
I mean, this is the thing. Like Jerry is mad and she's making statements like, why would you sit out why would Sandra and Courtney sit out? Like, why wouldn't they take the initiative? And Sandra's like, I'm sitting right here, and I said whatever the tribe wants. And they were like, well, why didn't you just say I want to do it? She's like, for what? So to argue with y'all? So it's my fault, me and
Literally.
Courtney's fault that y'all lost when y'all told us to sit out. And they were like, well, we didn't, I didn't, Jerry's like, I didn't tell you. It's not about you and Courtney. We're not mad at y'all. She's like, Coach is the one who told it, said it was us that needed to sit out. And now you mad at us because y'all lost. We had nothing to do with it. And so they're like, well, no, no, no. You should just tell us that you wanted to do it. And you should step up and say, I want to do it. And I want, and they like, argue with you for what? Argue with y'all for what? And I'm like, I hear you, Sandra. I'm not gonna argue with y'all. Y'all already call me weak. You already think I don't know how to do nothing. What am I arguing with y'all? So if I do say I want to do it and then I mess it up, then it's like, see, that's all we need to send you home. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Y'all don't want me to participate. Y'all think I'm weak. You do it. You do it.
Literally.
You do it.
I couldn't agree more. Like, honestly, it was correct.
You do it.
Everything that happened in this was correct.
Correct. Period. So then we go to the immunity challenge because really it was nothing but them just arguing and mad about losing pizza. And they were like, we didn't eat pizza. We could have rather get immunity than pizza, but whatever. So we get to the immunity. And so Sandra and Courtney have to play. And it's of course, it's a mud pit. And
it's
you have
a fucking physical challenge.
When you could have let them not to make let them bowl and then not do physical, you could have did that. But no, Coach wanted pizza. Simple as that. Coach wanted pizza.
Yeah. So the first round, it's Sandra and Russell, and then it's
Sandra and Russell against Amanda and
Colby.
No, it's a woman. It's Amanda and Candace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the heroes win.
Yeah.
And then the second round is 1-on-1 because obviously there's only 5 people competing in the challenge. Coach
Rupert
beats
and Coach.
Rupert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then
but Rupert was right there with him. Let's not act like Rupert was right there with Coach. It didn't. Yeah. It ended up in a foot race. That's how it ended. If Rupert's toe wasn't broke, he would have been right there with him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one, it's
JT and Colby against Parvati and Courtney. This was the most unbalanced nonsense I've ever seen in my entire life. I was like, what are y'all thinking? What?
Yeah, no.
It wasn't even close. It was not even close.
No. So we go back to camp and we see the starting of this plan that Sandra has been, planting some seeds.
Sandra told Courtney, "Oh, you go be here on day 22. Don't you worry. I got
you." This is where Sandra G.S. Twine
mother was mothering
ramps up that game because she has been planting seeds with Russell. Telling Russell that Coach is now coming after him because of everything that's been happening. Mm-hmm. And Russell, I think, plays a very good game in this season. Unfortunately, Russell is very, very easily manipulated.
Yes.
By certain individuals. And by certain individuals, I mean Parvati and Sandra.
Yep, for sure.
So
he did not. I feel like
where they all land up. But
yeah, I definitely feel like Russell didn't take into consideration why Parvati and Sandra were back so many times and how good they are as players. Like, they know what their weaknesses are, but they also know what their strengths are. Sandra is very good at lying low and doing stuff in the background that folks don't even realize is happening until it's too late. Parvati is so good at making you feel like you are super special and you're the only one she sees in her eyes, and she bats her eyes at you and you're just like, oh, she wants me. She really wants to work with me. That before you know it, you are under her spell and you will do anything, like give up an idol for her. You will do anything for this woman. And she's so good at it. And then she'll turn around like, what? I'm an innocent girl. I didn't do anything. I don't know what everybody's so, why are you all so mad at me? And it's just, he just underestimated how good they are and how good you have to be socially in this game, not just physically.
Yep.
It's so good.
Yeah. So it basically comes down to, are they going to vote out Courtney for being the weakest, or are they going to vote out Coach for being dumb?
Yeah.
And I mean, we go to tribal.
Okay. And I gave Jeff a lot of praise in this episode, but this is where I will draw the line.
Please do go for it.
Jeff Probst, you are the host. And it's your job to ask questions. And it's your job to dig into what is happening in this tribe and what they're doing. It is not your job to insult the players as they sitting right there in front of you. Courtney knows she ain't the strongest player on the team. Courtney knows she got some weaknesses. But you don't have to point out that they got rid of Boston Rob and kept Courtney. Like, Courtney's like, and Courtney was like,
not to do that.
Courtney was like, God dog, for real? Like, thank you, Jeffrey. When she said it, I was like, she's like, thank you, Jeffrey. I mean, thanks for pointing that out, that they got rid of somebody who was super amazing just to keep stupid old little old me. Like,
these are the moments that I am reminded of how much I love Courtney. Like, these are really the moments where I'm like, yeah, Courtney, you're iconic. Like, yeah. I
was so stunned. I was like, Jeff, that is not your place to call that girl weak.
No.
They already do that enough. Leave her alone. Leave her alone.
It gets brought up at least 4 to 5 times an episode at this point.
Like, leave this girl alone. Okay.
Leave Courtney alone.
Please. And my sister's name is Courtney, so I don't appreciate you talking about a Courtney like that.
I know a Courtney.
And we don't appreciate you talking about Courtneys like that. Thank you. Thank you.
Courtney Cox. Don't talk about her like that either.
Sure. Courtney, any Courtney around the world that I like.
Courtney Act from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 6. Don't talk about her like that.
Period.
Anyway, they vote out Coach. Yay!
We don't even go to merge before we get a juror. That's crazy.
Yeah, because this is, I believe, the first or second season with the expanded jury.
This is like first juror, no merge, just first juror. It's like,
yeah, because this was the season where they expanded the jury from 7 to 9.
To 9, right?
So
that's funny to me.
Yay! Coach is gone. Coach is gone. Coach is gone.
You're excited?
Coach is gone. I don't have to talk about Coach anymore until Final Tribal.
Right.
But
yeah,
Coach is gone. Well, our next episode we'll have one episode and then we'll be at Merge. So we're talking about Merge next week.
Yeah. And from the previews, I'm already like, oh my God, you moron.
Sure.
You moron. I can't. And I'm glad he's a moron. I'm just going to say that right now. I'm glad he's a moron because I don't like him no way. So, idiot. Oh, what we did miss when we bypassed this little precious moment at the reward challenge when the heroes got to see that Boston Rob was gone.
Oh yeah, they're like, it's an all-women's
alliance. Rupert called it out, and I was like, "You guys are
the best thing that could have happened for Parvati's game, truly.
And the best thing that could have happened for Russell's game."
Yeah.
In this episode, getting rid of Coach is the best thing that happens for Russell as well.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, oh, it's definitely a girls' alliance. You guys are morons. And they're going to run to Russell and they're going to just feed Russell information after information and wondering why they're getting decimated every single time.
It's so bad.
Idiots. Idiots. Idiots.
Well, thank you for
Well,
joining us for this lovely episode of Survivor Heroes vs. Villains. We'll be back next week to talk about an episode and
moron.
also merge and morons. So you're on YouTube. Do the YouTube things because you're on YouTube. You know how to do them, so do them. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Cup Pod for all of our funny moments because we are some funny bitches.
I mean,
Get your merch, link below, buy all the things. Tag us on social media if you buy merch. That'd be cool.
take a picture with your merch. That'd be
Yes.
great.
Other ways to support us coming very soon.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure to check those out and follow us on Twitter if you think we're cool too.
I mean, tag us on any social media that you just want to. You want us to know that you're a fan and you're listening, or you just want to say, "Hey, I'm a viewer. I watch." You guys are cool. Tag us. We love that.
So,
comment below because we would love to hear your thoughts.
Comment below. Do you hate Coach as much as I do? How iconic is Sandra Diaz Twine? Very. I need a third question. Did y'all also forget that Candace was on this season? Me too. There we go. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Bye now.